It's coming up as a potential lore item. The other side of Azeroth to me is like a WoW 2 event. I mean, you're talking about a whole nother, the other side, a whole new world, as Jasmine once sang with Aladdin. So what is this going to mean? I don't know. People keep talking about it. I'm starting to think maybe there's an actual chance that this happens. Let's see what Blizzard's secret confirmation is about upcoming lore, and then we'll get into raid.
Are you ready for genuine revelations on the future of WoW?
Avengers! Assemble.
That's right. That is going to be us today. Believe it or not, that is going to be us.
Over the course of 7 expansions, we have sorted out the Legion, right? But we've spent maybe more time campaigning against and finally clearing Azeroth
How can you have YouTube
a far
white?
more insidious threat. The Old Gods.
I don't know.
Or
dark mode it.
so we thought. I mean, when Azeroth went down so easily in BFA, quite a few of us scratched our heads, especially because of some oddly prophetic things that he said.
Yeah.
Today, we can actually re-engage in that. For a discovery on the Forbidden Reach, coming in World of Warcraft's next patch, has set an important part of WoW's canon actually back on track.
Oh.
There is a fifth god, a fifth old god on
Yeah, I'm ready to
Azeroth,
kill that chicken.
and we should have almost no idea what or where they are. Except, we do kind of have a few theories. And finally, there is huge evidence that what we've previously called, in decades of speculation, the backside of Azeroth, that it is real and that we may even go there soon.
Oh,
shit. You should go to today's sponsor. Gotcha, it's actually us. So look, guys, there's really big news.
He's sponsoring
The Pale
himself.
Beyond, which is the game that we've been developing for the last while,
next
it's
level.
actually coming out in just 10 days, which is kind of terrifying. Here it is in a deck, which is neat, but people have really loved the demo, and just from all our testing so far, I think we're really headed
Good on
for
you,
a great
Bellular,
launch.
making your own game.
Yeah,
That's
the
a
game
big
is on
fucking
Steam.
risk,
If
man.
you'd like to check it out, consider wishlisting it on Steam. That truly does help us out a great deal. And if you want a taste of the game, then you can play a 2-hour-long demo for the prologue right now. It's a slightly older build, but you'll get the gist. And over on the Bellular
Please,
Studios
Killer O, we will.
YouTube channel, we've
We will.
actually dropped a 1-hour-long ambient soundtrack mix, which, a lot of people are enjoying. So, there we go. It is insane that we're almost at launch. Like, here I am with it running on a deck, which is mad. Look, obviously, we love your support.
You can feel his excitement, man.
I guess thank you for considering.
I hope it's
with that
successful for him.
said, let's get back to the video. Today's discovery comes from a book that we've spotted in the Forbidden Reach on the PTR. But the book's origin is far older than Dragonflight. The Old Gods and the Ordering of Azeroth. It's a tome that we actually found in a few places 17, 18 years ago in vanilla. And it serves as the foundation of what we know about the world. It tells us the story of how the Titans destroyed the evil Black Empire, chained the old gods beneath Azeroth, created the Well of Eternity, and shaped the beautiful world that we all got lost in.
This entire story that we've been told, though, is told from the perspective of the Titans, and evidently they've lied to us.
It's actually even older than vanilla, though. Actually, it's a slightly updated version of a text from the very beginning in Warcraft 3's manual.
Wow,
in terms
3.
of canonicity, it was Word of God telling us background lore. And, of course, we all believed it. This book, though, is full of notes, the new version. It's the same book, but it's full of notes that are scribbled on the margins. And those notes, call it bullshit. They're written emotionally, angrily, almost with a scoff. The Titans are called pathetic for not realizing Sargeras' betrayal earlier. It attacks the narrative that the Black Empire was evil. Evil, according to whom?
Damn.
It says.
Angry
It
Twitter
was
posts.
the Titans who maligned
in
the
the margins.
glory of the Black Empire. Glory sounds cool. The scrolls attack the words of every page on this ancient tome, asserting that the Titans were just jealous of the Black Empire, the most impressive of existence, and that they tore it asunder for that reason. Lamenting with a scowl that
Fire
history
Guns?
is written by the victor, boasting the elementals and the old gods that they didn't
Sounds
go down
good,
without
we're
a
ready.
fight, and that the Titans' peace is actually oppression. It may just be some raving cultist really salty about the Titans' victory, but, of course, there may be a lick of truth to these notes.
Yeah.
We can only really do them justice by calling them revelations, though. Even the resurgence of this book itself is a massive hint from Blizzard, one that might even be the reversal of a mistake, the fixing of a retcon. The original text of the book says, "The Pantheon shattered old gods' citadels and chained the 5 evil gods far beneath the surface of the world. Cthulhu in Silithus, Yogg-Saron in Northrend, Yasharj's heart in Pandaria, and N'Zoth in the deep sea." But wait, that's 4.
That's only 4.
To be honest, because there was no sign of it, most of us just sort of forgot about the 5th old god that was originally mentioned in the book, and we kind of thought Blizzard had done the same. Especially since Chronicle said, after they defeated the 3rd old god Cthulhu, there was only 1 left. But by this stage, we do know that Chronicle isn't exactly reliable, you know, Titan perspective and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But now that they've drawn attention to the fact that Chronicle itself, when it came out, retconned an older piece of lore, I think that's Blizzard wanting us to remember something. Right now, there is one known prime candidate for a 5th old god.
That's the one I thought. When they first said 5th old god, when I first heard about a 5th old god, I was like, well, it was Zalatesh, man. Where'd she go?
Thanks to us, they're roaming the cosmos free. Xal'atath, imprisoned in the blade of the Black Empire, undiscovered by us in Legion, the artifact weapons lore that we discover through that expansion says that she may have been the remnants of a long-forgotten old god consumed in the early days of the Black Empire. She herself says that she was betrayed by her kin.
We may face some of my brethren in this conflict, a prospect that delights me.
Oh, shit.
Their power will be mine. They will pay for what was done to me long ago.
Damn.
Yeah, she's clearly pissed. Kind of interesting, though. I mean, is the enemy of an enemy our friend or not?
Well, when it comes to old gods, probably not.
5th. After all, there is an inconsistency that you've noticed here that suggests somebody is lying. Xal'atath allegedly was consumed in the early days of the Black Empire, and the blade itself is of an old god origin, lost during the Sundering, but otherwise, you know, roaming around Azeroth doing dark shenanigans.
Right.
Now, that means that she would not have been imprisoned by the Titans, as is said in...
Man, this right here is a missed opportunity. This would have been a badass zone. I know they kind of took inspiration from this and made the raid, but damn, this would have been a cool place to go to.
The old gods in the Ordering of Azeroth. Perhaps she wouldn't even be known to the Titans. Who knows what's going on there? We'll have to find out the truth, of course, when she inevitably returns to the game in some form of void expansion that was recently hinted at. But the thing is, besides Xal'atath, there are other possibilities, and more revelations from our annotated book, like the back of Azeroth.
There
the 5th old god is one thing,
the booty
but
of
Blizzard
Azeroth
may have finally given us the wink wink nudge nudge about an entire part of the world that we've only ever imagined. Look at this map. This is what we've been told the world looks like.
Right.
In the version of history we've been told, in this lore book, the Titans made giants to shape the Earth, creating the perfect continent, calling it Kalimdor. But the apparent raving madman who's been writing notes in the margins of the old gods in the Ordering of Azeroth calls the author either a fool or a liar, accusing them of spreading Titan propaganda or being ignorant of what lies beyond the waves. What does lie beyond the waves? I've always wondered. Well,
see, beyond the waves tells me a landmass. Beneath the waves would tell me, you know, under, you know, a city underwater or something. But beyond the waves does tell me an undiscovered landmass.
We wondered until Dragonflight. I mean, every place on Azeroth has been part of Kalimdor until the Sundering. The Dragon Isles is actually the first place that's a true, like, island that wasn't a part of that supercontinent, right? And there's also a very odd thing that's happened. Have you noticed how Kalimdor was suspiciously moved on the world map for Dragonflight, seemingly making some space for something in the future?
It was?
I mean, sure, maybe it's a new...
What do you mean it was moved?
Kalimdor was an odd thing that's happened. Have you noticed how Kalimdor was suspiciously moved on the world map for Dragonflight, seemingly making some space for something in the future? I mean, sure, maybe it's a new elf tree.
A new world tree.
Dragonflight has actually teased a whole new location related to things the Titans would have wanted to keep a secret. Now, got to talk about everybody's favorite dickhead, Odin. He is the one who led the disinformation campaign
is a dick.
and covered all this
Odin's
stuff
an
up.
asshole.
He demanded that all references to the Black Empire's advancements be purged, for all documents are to claim now
That purging,
that it was an age of evil and chaos, and that's
Open your
certainly is the
in-game Mac.
history
I will.
that we all, as little baby characters in Azeroth, grew up knowing. Almost certainly then part of some Titan or maybe some Keeper propaganda.
search right now.
But there's more. We've seen more of Odin's classified documents found within hidden vaults of Uldaman, including a report on failed military expeditions. In the hunt for some heretics who have committed some heinous crimes against the Titan Keepers, Odin sent his armies in search for a place named Avalorn. 3 out
Avalorn.
of 4 expeditions washed up on the shores of Kalimdor. That's pre-Sundering Kalimdor, again proving that there were other lands, other continents. Avalorn in particular was home to these heretics who were powerful enough to kill Keepers, kill Titan Forged, and escape Odin's might. Now, if Odin was to call anyone a heretic, it would likely be the mortals that
Odin's Odin calling people heretics is funny. It's right here. Kalimdor did move closer in. Yeah. Graves noticed that Kalimdor has been moved to the east. By comparing a live patch, here it is. This is how it is now. That's what I figured. I said maybe it's closer to the mall. Yeah, it's closer to the Maelstrom. It used to be further away. Now it's been moved. So there you go. If you go in game, obviously you're not going to notice because you don't have access to the old map. But it moved. It did move.
Clearly despised and distrusted, or even some Titan Forged or Keepers who ended up being allied with the old gods, which, given Loken, is not an insane thing to have happen.
Right.
So, Avalorn, and by the way, you've got to check out the video that we last did on lore. It's about the humans. It does cover Avalorn. I'd say this.
Yeah, I love the
Avalorn.
That was a great
Avalon,
video.
they
We
seem
watched
kinda
that. That was
similar.
good.
There is an Avalon within World of Warcraft, but it's called New Avalon, which makes me say to you, well, how do you have New York without there
The
being
Maelstrom
a
is
place
sucking everything
called
back in.
York?
Oh, maybe.
Worth thinking about.
Tundra.
Check the video out. It'll add some color to this one. Anyway, Avalorn, a land of heretics kept secret by the Titan Keepers and nowhere to be seen in our maps, be they modern or be they ancient. If that is not the perfect place for a 5th old god to stay hidden, then what is? But the revelations from the book do not end.
You know, all in all, Azeroth is a very misty planet. We've had mists of Pandaria. We've had Kultir. I mean, a lot of these places have just been covered in mists for years. Zandalar. Why?
There,
You
so
can't find these places.
stay strapped in. At
Mystified.
the continent's center, the Titans crafted a font of scintillating energy. The lake, which they named the Well of Eternity, was to be the font of life for the world. Its
Right.
potent energies would nurture the bones of the world and empower life to take root in the land's rich soil.
Soil.
Or, if the anti-Titan lunatic friend that we've made in the margins of this notebook would say, quote, "The Titans wounded the world with their recklessness, then insisted it was done by design. Preposterous! It was the old gods who nurtured the flesh of this world, not the Titans."
Well, by flesh, he is correct. He is correct. The curse of flesh came from the old gods. But it was more of a curse. It weakened us, technically.
He's quite a spicy fellow. So we've known for years
not lying.
that the Well of Eternity
But
was
it's
not
not a
just
blessing, it was a
created,
curse.
oh la-di-da, lovely by the Titans.
It
No,
was meant to weaken all of the Titans' little minions they had all over the planet.
it was an accident from Amthul reaching down to
Calling
the
it
world
now,
of
there's
his
a new
giant
island found
celestial
northwest of
body and
Kalimdor.
ripping Yisharj out of its, well, crust, but in the process leaving a wound, a great
Just
wound
one big
in
fog
the
machine,
world
basically.
that would then be called the Well of Eternity, for the literal lifeblood of Azeroth is what would nurture the lands around it. So the reveal here that our writer claims the old gods nurtured Azeroth is not particularly absurd. In whatever history, wherever it may come from, be it Titan Keeper in this book,
They are nurturing Azeroth. The old gods, their goal is to be, I mean, what we've always thought is to corrupt the world soul of the planet. They don't want to kill it. They want to nurture it. Let it grow and corrupt it as it grows. So they, again, not lying. Not lying.
clearly the actual Well of Eternity story is changed. which is basically something that casts doubt on the veracity of this book, originally found in Vanilla and Warcraft 3, that we've really known is incorrect since Mists of Pandaria. Kind of interesting. I'd also like to note flesh. Oh yes, flesh.
Yeah,
flesh is what our raving madman says in the margins of this book. And it's an interesting word because, of course, of the curse of flesh. Right? That's from the old gods. And the curse of flesh is the origin of most mortals on Azeroth.
Yeah.
Was Odin, then, trying to hide the primordial races of Azeroth, like the proto-drakes and the trolls, essentially to hide how they came to be? You look at a proto-drake in World of Warcraft, right? It's a fleshy, gnarly dude. But per the lore, dragons initially descended from elements. Now, how do you make the evolutionary leap from being a rock to being fleshy? The curse of flesh is consistently...
Rock hard to fleshy. I don't know, you tell me, Bellular.
Be it Vrykul, which of course comes from the Titan-forged constructs of the Keepers, or if we think about the Tauren, I think it's pretty likely that the Tauren have a curse of flesh, basically nature. The Shu'halo are seemingly the progenitor of the Tauren, right? That we learn of in Eyes of the Earth Mother, which is a part of the Tauren's mythology, their understanding of their own place within Azeroth, and just
the Tauren are not a native
cosmic kind of understanding
fleshy race
of their
like the
religion.
trolls.
Now, Shu'halo translates to children of the soil. Sounds rather elemental to me, right?
Yeah, that's
The
right.
Ural Crater and Sholazar Basin led us to believe that the Titans experimented and birthed life, and that the Emerald Dream's blueprint for Azeroth was them bringing animals to life via wild gods. But evidence has been mounting that there's just more to the story. Basically, the Titans are kind of taking a lot of credit for stuff they didn't do, including life itself.
Yeah, true.
You know, they
as the
arrive
victors
in the scene,
usually do.
They see what chaos there is, and they try to polish it up and make it their own. That's what they do as beings of order.
Right.
Now, all that being said, so far, I've got to be honest. I've been pulling a fast one. I've kind of been lying to you.
What?
Because I've been acting like whoever wrote these notes in the margin of this book is some completely untrustworthy lunatic.
Who did?
Now it's time to talk about who it probably is.
What do you think,
So,
Bell? Tell
this
us.
book is from Neltharion's private collection, which kind of suggests that
Wait, he thinks it's
wrote
Neltharion?
them. The notes have got the same character as the ramblings of a Twilight cultist.
Oh,
They speak with a
shit.
certainty, anger, like somebody raging against the lies they've been brought up to believe. They read like a mind that is starting to fall to madness, you know?
Oh,
They're clear,
shit,
they're
he might be
sensible,
right.
but a bit insane. They're full of snark. They're smug. They have real knowledge. If
my
Deathwing
God.
is the one who wrote these, then it offers us a glimpse into who he was when he was still Neltharion, around the time he made the Drakthir, when he was fed anti-Titan.
Imagine his corruption seeping deeper and deeper into his mind as he's kind of accepted the void, and the anger that he was starting to feel when he realized he had essentially been lied to this entire time. And that anger leading to further corruption. Man, that's a destructive cycle. I think Bellular is right. It might have been him writing these notes.
Truths, or maybe old god lies, and the beginning of the spiral in his mental state that would lead to him being the madman that we had to put down.
Yeah.
Now, I have one final revelation from this book. The passage reads,
Twitter users.
As twilight fell on the final day of their labors, the Titans named the continent Kalimdor, land of eternal starlight. To this, Neltharion, or whoever wrote these responses, replied with snark, "Ah yes, the Titans' final erasure of the wonders that once existed. They even stole away the land's true name and replaced it with one of their own."
Oh, damn. He is angry.
True name. That could simply be the name that the Black Empire gave to the land. And some people may say, wow, what's Steve Denuser done this time? He's went and retconned the name of Kalimdor? I wouldn't necessarily say
No,
so.
that's not a
I live in a
retcon.
place that we currently call Ireland, but it was called Hibernia by the Romans. What's its first name?
Yeah.
It's Hibernia. Did we retcon something when we started to call it Ireland? I wouldn't particularly think so. And when we're talking about a big secondary world like that of Warcraft, we've got to have room for
names have
history
changed.
and change over
Names have
history.
changed.
The tense here is that there's Essentially, an entire age of wonders erased by Titan propaganda that we've yet to think about,
Yes.
yet to
What is
discover.
the true lore?
And to get there, we may have to find a fifth old god, and probably on another continent, perhaps one that is on the other side of the world. Azeroth.
Maybe.
Make no mistake, this is Blizzard truly setting up a future of Warcraft in a way that we have not seen before.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Now,
not
I
a
know
retcon.
the Dragonflight just started.
I agree, Deadric. Just because the truth has been revealed and something else that we once thought was the truth, or we only knew a half-truth, and now we know the full truth, or the real truth, that's not a retcon. That's not a retcon.
But I hope you're as excited for the 11.0 announcement as I am. I love how this lore is expanding. It is expanding via, I mean, let's be real, an underwritten character getting character. Deathwing looked cool in the cinematic.
He did.
But he was just a big evil dragon dickhead, right? He was an underwritten character. We're kind
This
of
is the exact scene that Chinese MMO takes.
to those existing
right here.
within the canon of Warcraft, but to actually see more of who Neltharion was, what took him on the journey that he went to, how was the burden that the Titans put on him rather unfair, especially considering they may not have given him complete information. What did he think when he actually found out the truth? This gives us an opportunity to understand, connect with, to empathize with the character of Neltharion.
Oh, Neltharion's
And that,
much more
everybody,
interesting now than he
is
was
really the
during,
reason why you look at Cataclysm, you see
during
Deathwing,
Cataclysm.
he's a lame villain, even though he looks cool. But you look at Wrath of the Lich King and Arthas, and you think, man, that's a
that-
cool villain, because
that is a
you
cool
can
villain,
empathize with Arthas. You know how he came to be the way that he was.
Yeah.
And I think that the more that we actually
He wasn't wrong
learn
either.
about this character's backstory, as we explore the Dragon Isles, as we perhaps go into patch 10.1, which I think will be very much dealing with the legacy of
Daedric?
Neltharion, this retroactively
Fine.
makes him a better character.
Bring a little
because,
Day in my
frankly,
life.
he wasn't a very good character to begin with. So it's nice to see that with him obviously having a role in the development of Azeroth that can never be taken back, for it is so large, it makes sense
Pronk, what you just gave me, that's a retcon right there. You just retconned his name.
therefore that we actually grow him and expand him and make him a fully rounded person that players can understand and
I like
connect
what they've done with Deathwing
And
so
if
far in this
the process
expansion.
of that, we can then have a sensible expansion of the lore that makes the history of Azeroth far more deep and rich, full of mystery, full of incredible
Yes.
things lost to time
Yes.
that we can only hope to discover.
Love
And
it.
that is what makes this a secondary world that inspires adventure and sparks the imagination. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video.
I have.
I highly recommend you check out our video about basically how Blizzard are doing a similar thing with the origin of humanity.
Yes.
And making the humans
Check it
of
out if you haven't.
Warcraft,
We
who
checked it out
generally
before.
would have been the boring foil that you and me are supposed to understand, because we are humans, and actually is giving them real good backstory.
There we are.
Very interesting stuff. So check out that video next if you want some entertainment. Of course, support today's sponsor if you want to support the show. With that, have a brilliant day, and I'll see you next time.
Bellular's reached next level, man. He's sponsoring his own videos. What a champ. What a champ. What a great video. Holy crap, man. That was a good one. This fifth old god shit could become something. Could become something legitimate.